Hello everybody and welcome to Gameplay Stream number 1. I am Robin and joining me today is...
Frodan.
That's right, man. And we actually have a really good matchup for you. We're making sure the players are ready to go. And yes, they are. 9 seconds and counting. It's going to be StarTales Parting versus Grubby. PvP action
Grubby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's on his own team. And guys, it's going to be Protoss versus Protoss. We're going to kick it off here at MLG Daybreak. And it's going to be a pretty important match. Both players are still jostling for position. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the game here. In the bottom left, we have the blue Protoss. His name is Grubby Manuel.
Yeah, there he is.
And the top right, Tim, who do we have?
Oh, we got StarTales Parting going to be our red Protoss player. PvP, very, very interesting matchup. We're either going to have a very long-oriented map, or we're going to have a very short game, if you will. So we'll see what the players are planning on doing here. And yep, looks like we're ready to go. So pulling this up really quick. Yep. All right. So. What are we going to see here, man? PvP, Daybreak, possibility of some expansions could be happening. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, PvP has seen a lot of change, especially just because Blizzard's been patching it so much, as people have been known the past few months. But more specifically since MLG, a lot of Protoss players have really been just playing safe and trying to see if they can reincorporate some 4-gate timings, which is really interesting. I know specifically some Protosses have been really working on 11 gating and trying to get their 4 warp gate really early. I know Sauce's been experimenting with it. Parting's been kind of a Protoss who's kind of dabbled into that as well, where basically you 4-gate, but you do it a little bit supply early, and as a result you get more units, and you just cut it back a probe or two. So we see that neither player is choosing to do that, but in general, an innovation in PvP is still very prevalent, as strategies are still continuing to change by a weekly basis.
My favorite part of watching mirror matchups is when exactly we see the build start to differentiate. I mean, as we're watching the production tab, I mean, we should be seeing a gas pretty soon here from Grubby as well. And there it goes, being thrown out a little bit off, but again, the builds don't really start to change around until maybe after the Cyber Escort, where you start to see whether we're going to be having more safer builds or, of course, aggressive Nexus types of builds. So really looking forward to seeing what exactly the plan is for both our players. For now, we just wait for the production tab to kind of subdue and get an idea of what exactly our players are going for.
Absolutely. So again, PvP, it's Daybreak, and again, people always still have this kind of notion that PvP is kind of coin flippy, when it does have kind of elements, especially if someone decides to go Dark Templar. I mean, I know a couple weeks ago I saw people going Dark Templars in PvP, and it's still kind of coin flippy in that sense, but it still has a pretty good sense of direction. There's actually safe builds. If you go Robo, it's just the safe of the safest builds. Some people try to incorporate Phoenixes into their play as well, so it's actually really interesting to see how players choose to go about their safeness. Now, we see that Parting's actually going for a delayed second gas, which does mean that he can squeeze out a little bit more units out here, and he does get a second gateway early on. Now, this is kind of the style of a 4-gate that Parting used to do, but still he gives enough flexibility, because the whole idea is you get a delayed second gas so you can get the second gateway a little bit earlier and you skip your first zealot. So the idea is Parting is trying to see if he can squeeze in production a little bit later, but still be able to get out stuff.
Yeah, isn't this very it's a 3 stalkers, right? And that's what's coming out. Usually you see that from the delayed gas.
Yeah, it's a very safe build if you can get 3 stalker out. Yeah,
we'll see in a second as the second gateway does finish up. Is going to go ahead and select a stalker here, and still have not quite yet. But right now we do have a probe came in. Grubby did see a majority of what exactly card he does have. As we pull up his vision really quick here. Yeah, you can see. Yes, I hit the wrong button. But you can see the double
playing
tab.
efficiently.
Yeah,
well, this is not
efficient.
actual APM. I think the effective APM is the actual APM. I think Blizzard kind of switched it, which is kind of funky. Now we see an immediate Twilight Council. Now I want to tell you something. Grubby loves Blink a lot.
He loves it, man.
He's a huge micro player. We've known since Warcraft 3. Absolutely loves controlling his units and maximizing its efficiency to its max. So Grubby loves Blink. It's a big proponent of it. And here's the Robo from StarTales Party. We were talking earlier about being safe, and he's playing as safe as possible, because, I mean, in PvP, who can blame you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have the availability there to get out of Immortal. Some players even actually go straight to the Immortal and not even get the Observer out just to be that safe, because a lot of Blink Stalker timings just exist in general. And actually, Sparting has no idea what exactly his opponent is doing quite yet. Is setting up a 4-pile in the very far top left corner, though, of Daybreak, as you can see here, right outside that potential 4th or 5th base that you would see. So, interesting. Parting making me want to get a little aggressive here soon, but we do have a Robo follow-up here for Grubby, as you can see in his main, as he did follow that up after his Blink was queued up. So, going to go ahead and grab map control, grab that Zelda, preventing any probes from coming in from getting scouting information.
Yeah, and Grubby taking control of this watchtower is very important, making sure that Parting is not going to be able to get the jump on him. Now, jumping Stalkers in general, getting extra hits is very, very big. Now we do see 3 Stalkers on 3 Stalkers, and Parting's actually getting really aggressive here. He doesn't actually have his 3rd gate up just yet. In fact, he's just trying to bust up here. He's putting the pylon on the low ground. Grubby is microwaving back as much as possible, waiting for his blink. It's about 75% done. Is he going to lose his first Stalker? Grubby needs to buy some time here. And looks like he's going to start working on some probes. Parting immediately targeting down and getting a little bit of economic advantage. And that's a smart thing to do because Parting is going to leave. And he's actually canceling the probe. And wow, he's actually expanding. So this is actually a big rush. And Parting totally mind gaming his opponent and making Grubby believe that he's actually going to go in. But in reality, is setting up for a mid game.
Very, very smart play here, playing mind games, as you just mentioned. Luckily for Grubby, his blink did just finish up, so he's going to go and get aggressive here. He can do a lot of poking and prodding, having that blink available to him. Parting still moving his way back across the middle of the map here. Will most likely leave a Stalker on top of that Naga, and it certainly does look like it. And it actually has a probe that came in. I think they oh, it's an observer. I think he saw the Stalkers coming too. Yeah. So he should be prepared for this. I think at home, I think I saw an Immortal queued up. If we can go and check out his natural really quick. Yeah, he's got an Immortal. So he's actually pretty well defended against anything that really Grubby could throw against him.
Well, right now we see that Grubby does have Blink, but he doesn't have that strong of a number of Stalkers. There's a pretty big differences when sometimes the Stalker count gets big enough to the point where you can just really hopscotch them and make them efficient. You want enough Stalkers, maybe around at least 12, and then you just start to recharge shields by the time you have them re-engage. So that way you can maximize their shield health and generation. So we'll see whether or not Grubby's going to be able to maximize. For now, he's just trying to poke in without taking actual committing damage. And he's doing a good job here poking, but for now, he still doesn't know about this expansion. And the reason why Parting, what he's doing is so smart, is he knows what's going on, is he sees the robotics, he saw Twilight Council, and there's Immortals pretty exposed. Is Grubby going to try to see if he can poke in here? No, he actually blinks away. And I think right now he recognizes what the situation is, because did he catch the sight of the expansion?
Yeah, he caught the expansion. He realized that he actually expanded behind us as well. The thing is, this expansion is severely behind.
Oh, he's picking up Sentry.
Oh, Sentry will go down. 2 Sentries looks like they've been taken out. Smart play there, of course. 1 Force Field's unavailable, and of course the Guardian Shield goes away as well. And looks like 1 Stalker will be taken out as a price for taking the Sentries out, but definitely worth it in my opinion. Keep that Guardian Shield, and of course the energy available by the Sentries completely down. He's going to go ahead and keep the Stalkers in a point where he can find out if his opponent is trying to go ahead and keep being aggressive, but it looks like Parting is pulling on back. Very content with hanging outside the natural. It looks like a bit of a scuffle might go on at the Zone Naga. Both players kind of testing each other out, and it looks like actually Grubby's following up with the robotics bay. He's going for
and he's expanding himself. This is a smart thing to do in PvP because you have a huge amount of defender's advantage as long as you can take out the pylons and make sure you can get high ground advantage. It's very, very big, especially on a map like Daybreak. Protecting this natural expansion ramp will be really big until the rocks go down, even then, or the debris rather. Even then you buy a lot of time. Now, oh man, that's actually a huge play. You know, Parting sniping the observer will deny Grubby a lot of vision, and I don't know what Grubby's actually seen, because we've seen a lot of times people go reverse blink, and actually Grubby managed to catch everything, so that's really good. But more importantly, Grubby actually revealed that he hasn't made any more Stalkers. So everything that Parting saw is something that he already knows. He saw that there's a lack of Stalkers, so he says, okay, well, you got to be investing your resource elsewhere. And yeah, he's going to go ahead and he says, wow, there's only 5, 6 Stalkers. There's got to be something going on. And Grubby's actually expanding. He's actually teching. He's getting his forge, and he's getting his robotics bay just finished as well. So.
And Parting has an observer actually sitting right above the whole entire army at the natural here. He knows exactly what Grubby has at the moment. So he's actually going to keep moving on forward here. He has a couple of Immortals, 3 Immortals actually in the mix, but 1 Colossus does get out to make it a tad bit easier for Grubby to really engage this. If he can make sure he does that on the high ground and just a couple of free shots whenever Parting does try to come up the ramp. So it's going to be really, really important how Grubby deals with this push.
Well, the big thing is Parting doesn't have a way to bust force fields, and you know, Parting taking out those rocks was absolutely huge. But oh no, he's tending in the first Stalkers here, and it looks like he's going to blink forward, but does get caught and loses several Stalkers. That was a key moment there, as we do see that Grubby looks like he will get that small advantage, and you never know. 2 Stalkers can make the biggest difference in the micro pass, especially when it comes to Grubby. The Immortals still trying to force their way up. Double Guardian Shields. Looks like Grubby blinks forward, a sign of huge confidence, but he's pulling back himself in retreat, as right now the Stalkers from the west are coming in for a flank. Grubby, all of the name of protecting that Colossus, needs to back off, does not have that big of an advantage. Right now the force fields are pretty much null. Parting pushing in here. That Guardian Shield still doing wonders in terms of soaking up damage. Will Grubby able to hold? Right now, supply counts still do favor Parting right here, but Parting is going to blink up to the northern part. His Immortals are kind of sectioned off, and that's actually 1 Immortal for free. And Grubby trying to maximize damage. Second Colossus down to the field, and that's huge.
Yeah, Pro's now coming off the line as well, going to try and catch the Stalkers off, and yes, he will force Parting to go ahead and retreat there. And I also liked what Parting tried to do there. You saw him drop a force field. He was trying to bait the Colossi while the 3 Immortals were over in that right corner, so the Colossi would go pop that force field, and then of course the Immortals would shred the Colossus, but Grubby did not bite. But Stalkers are blinking screen in the main. They are picking off a couple of pylons. They might even get a few more probes here, doing some damage. 2 probes now fall, 3 probes now fall, 4, 5, even 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tons dying off here in the main, and Grubby not even pulling his probe back. He's going to try and contest, and he actually goes a little bit too far to the left, and Parting now has an avenue to get out of the main and goes straight to the natural. He may get more probes.
Wow, and his Immortal has been working on probes the entire time, 7 kills and counting, and so Grubby has been doing a good job fighting the battles, but in terms of taking harassment, 20 workers have been killed.
Wow.
This entire exchange.
Yeah, let's look at the unit stab really quick while we have a breather here. It looks like pulling it up, it's going to be 49 to 30, and Harvesters, Grubby knows he's behind.
Whenever he has to counterattack or something.
I've seen him cast PvP, and he knows it's so important to have that probe count equal. So he's going to go ahead and start moving out here, killing off the pylon, and like you said, going for a counterattack. And the thing is, it's a pretty far rush to just get across the middle of the map. And at this point, Parting get himself nice and set up to defend against it.
Well, the thing is that Grubby, he doesn't have too much else going for him besides the units he has. We actually see that +1 actually finish for Parting, which could make a pretty big difference. But for now, we'll have to see whether or not Grubby is going to be able to fight on a good favorable position. He's getting a Warp Prism, which might come in handy in terms of warping in and killing off some workers. Now, Grubby could go for 2 things. One, he could try to see if he can crush his opponent's army and obviously try to do something from there. He could try to also even the worker count and really try to harass his opponent as well, because it's all about that worker count in your matchups. If you can get ahead of your opponent, you'll just significantly compound. So I want to see what he's able to do. Grubby, again, he's seen good micro from him thus far. We'll see whether or not he's able to utilize that Warp Prism.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to do something soon, obviously, and he knows he's got the Immortal actually loaded. Ooh, this is nice. Immortal Stalker and a Sentry. I think the Sentry has full energy as well. If it does, it can land a couple of force with him, potentially let him do a lot of damage. He maybe pick up a tech structure, but the Stalkers do see it. They are going to take them down. Are they going to blink on top? Grubby wisely drops wow. Oh, that was smart. Drops the Stalker, makes those Stalkers kind of stutter step for a little bit, and then blinks it away, so he saves all of his units, and now his Warp Prism can actually go into the main. Is he going to drop? I actually don't see anything on Parting's main screen to defend against it.
Parting does have a cannon warping in, though, so he does have the knowledge of what the Warp Prism wants to do. Grubby might try to see if he can send it in the midst of the battle. Parting not paying attention to one of his Archons, but no real consequence. He's just going to send it back with the bulk of his army. Now, Parting does have these Archons, and the biggest reason why is because he understands that Force Fields is the biggest enemy for him right now. It just completely zones him out of battle. Now, Grubby, again, not really utilizing that Warp Prism to the best of his ability just yet, but it still has a lot of potential, as right now we see Parting is taking a 3rd base and grabbing that strong economic advantage, and we do see that his +2 has also finished. A very, very valuable upgrade indeed, especially as the supply counts are still climbing for both players, and Parting, the way he's gearing up, might just see if he can force himself up the ramp here. Keep in mind that he does have Zealot Charge as well before Grubby, although Grubby is just momentarily about to finish, so that window has closed.
Yeah, as you can see in the middle of the map, we have a lot of units coming across, and it looks like Parting definitely wants to go for the aggressive push here. He's got his 3rd already starting to be saturated as well. He's following up with the Colossus in case he'll need it in terms of defense at home if he can't break Grubby here. Warp Prism actually in a lot of trouble, and it actually does go down. Pulling up the health bars really, really quick. We see an Observer is actually sniped there for Grubby. That's nice for him. But Parting actually looks like he just wants to go and retreat. He's very content with taking out that Warp Prism, which was kind of making Parting a little uneasy, afraid of a drop possibly happening within the main. So that's actually kind of a sigh of relief from him.
More importantly, Parting actually saw the 3rd that wasn't there. So he actually sees that he has a huge economic advantage, but Grubby, he's actually resorting to some special tactics here, but the Observer sees it. Wow, Grubby, Dark Shine, right there for the all-knowing eye to see. And yes, the Eye of Sauron did indeed spot that Dark Shrine, so he knows, man. So basically, Parting is completely aware, and this is just great play, because you can see that he's constantly moving his Observer around, and this actually goes to the fact that Parting sniped the Observer earlier, and Grubby can't afford to waste his robo time. Now, Grubby has a Colossus advantage, and it looks like right now he's setting up some pylons also just to get in position, but for now, he has a pretty strong AoE advantage, and I'm wondering if he's going to try to just play this out in terms of macro and see if he can get a full battle engagement advantage, or rather he's just going to try to see if Parting will let him macro, because right now Parting is playing really defensive.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, looking over to Grubby really quick as well, he's got +2 about to finish. Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually that's partying +3. Oh my gosh,
lighting is a little bit tricky.
Yeah, he is chrono boosting out those upgrades. +1 armor is finishing up. Thermal lance is on its way. He's also expanding to a 4th already. There is a 4 pylon, and as you said, it looks like a couple of zealots have been warped in. Or DTs actually. I'm sorry, the Dark Shrine did finish up. Did Grubby prepare for it?
Yes, with the cannon at each base,
Party prepared.
So he should be completely okay. So Grubby, that's a lot of minerals wasted. Grubby's going for some workers, but to no avail. He's going to use this actually as an opportunity to reposition his army. A little clever tactic there, or a good save, however you want to look at. But for now, the big thing is that Party's getting 4 bases, and that just staying a base ahead of your opponent in a mirror matchup is unbelievably huge. Parting pretty much almost max, while Grubby's about 160 supply. We're going to have to wait to see if Parting is actually going to go for some timing, because right now he actually has plus to finish, both on armor is going to finish, and those kind of upgrades are not easy to overcome, especially with Grubby's 0-0-0.
We have Stargate coming out for both players here, which is interesting.
Mothership is pretty important.
Yeah,
for
Mothership very, very important. So yeah, looks like with the 3rd base finishing up for Grubby, he's nice in position to at least have a 3rd, but again, the 4th for Party, 62 to 50 in Harvesters at the moment. Grubby is slowly catching up, but that's because really Party's kind of stopped grading for him. He really doesn't need that many more. 65 to 70 and you're good to go. Looks like some Zealots will come in here and actually focus down a couple of photon cannons. Will be cleaned up though by Party and his army and his few Zealots there, and actually,
a couple things. Oh, I'm sorry, Rob.
You're good, man.
I apologize. It's for those of you who don't know, Robin and I can't actually hear each other, and so when Robin starts dropping his volume, I actually think he stopped talking. So I apologize, Robin, if you want to say something. But
well, oh, yep, there you go. Fleet beacons on the way. So Mothership's being created, as you mentioned.
And Robin's actually adjusting my headset a little bit so I can hear him better. So you're right, I was wrong. You said before the cast we may have trouble hearing each other, but now now my ear is completely yours.
Well, it looks like Parting's grabbed his own Warp Prism. I saw that created in the production tab, and he's also getting Warp Prism speed at the moment, as well wants to have that basically a portable pylon to warp in units if need be, because he's definitely got the advantage at the moment, moving forward 198 to 167 supply. And we have a Mothership already being queued up for Grubby, but I know Soccer does go down. I don't know if it'll be here in time. He's got to make sure, if he wants to win this engagement, that he has a great spread of his Colossi. Yeah. It's really important as Parting maybe moves up this ramp that he gets a nice couple of free hits on top of the Zealots that are trying to move maneuver their way on in.
Yeah, I mean, Parting caught up in the Colossus count. The huge thing are the Archons and whether or not they're going to be able to get the full amount of damage. And Parting with a fantastic Concave actually blinks the Stalkers down. And here we go. Guardian Shields pop here from Grubby. Is he going to be able to hold? The Archons pushing in as the majority of it was Zealots. And Parting's absolutely crushing Grubby's army. Look at that. 184 supply to 97 in just a blink of an eye. And Startail Parting going to push in here to Grubby's natural. Completely uninhibited. The DTs trying to do whatever they can, but wow, Grubby warped in 10 DTs to take out the army in desperation, and there's no form of detection really, so actually Parting is going to be ushered out his Colossus, but he lost a lot there despite that, so we see that the 3rd is actually under assail as well. The DT is still trying to do some damage, but for the most part, Grubby suffered lots of losses. Robin, can we report on how much damage is actually done?
Yeah, man, so much damage. Let's go ahead and pull into the workers killed really quick. Remember, 20 was the first killed off. 46 have now been killed off at the moment. DTs were able to force Parting to go ahead and pull on back. Supply's been dropped to 124 to 50, but still we have Parting with the lead. 2 observers are being chrono boosted out at the moment. You can see them here in the natural, as well as there's a robotics facility in the main. So once he gets the observers out, he should be good against holding this and get ready for another push. But I actually think when the engagement happened, Grubby really made sure to have his Stalkers get on the one observer that was with the army. Before he went in, he had the observer there. But so many DTs now for Grubby. Wow. He's going to try and finish the game out with these DTs. A lot of photon cannons, but with this many DTs, it can actually go down pretty fast. Yeah, Grubby trying to see if he can sneak in and take out some expansions. He knows what Parting's up to in terms of expanding towards the middle of the map as well, but this is a pretty dangerous situation. Does manage to snipe one of the pylons powering 2 cannons and trying to see if he can take out one more. Parting in the meantime, he's just actually keeping his army chilling in the center, starting to pull some units here individually, but this is actually a nice little tactic here from Grubby, but it can't stay like this forever. Grubby's going to actually have to find a way to have actual strength in his army, because DTs
are pretty fragile unit, and they're not reliable whatsoever.
Glass cannons. Looks like at the same time Zelts might be going for a charge into the third. I don't think there's really too much there to actually hold that off. Yeah, there's not even a photon cannon, so that third definitely in trouble. It looks like the DTs did kill off the Nexus down in the bottom right corner with the help of the Mothership as one Phoenix, which is good for sniping observers.
Sniping the observers. So I remember a while ago, Plexa from Team Liquid, they made a huge post about a Mothership and PvP specifically for sniping the observer with the Phoenix, in conjunction with the Phoenix. And so you never know. Crazy things have happened before, and you never know if this actually ever becomes an issue. But for the most part, the DTs are taking so much AoE damage, and oh man, too many DTs are going down. Grubby now down to just 26 supply, and there it is, GG. So Harding taking out the third. A little bit too much damage being done, and overall, too many advantages being taken over.
Yeah, even at that time, Parting still took out the third at the top left corner as well. So overall, Parting really just controlled that game so well.
Yeah, fantastic.